Okay. It's 4:15, so I'll bring the meeting to order. This is the Historic District Commission in the town of Fairfield. The date is May 9th, 2024. Notice of this hearing was published in the Friday, April 26th edition of Fairfield Citizen. And I'll take attendance. Mark Levanis, Commissioner.
I'm here.
Thank you. Darren Raymond Locke, Commissioner.
Present.
Thank you. Rosina Negron, Commissioner.
Here.
George Clark, Commissioner. I don't see him in the list here. Jim Bohan, Alternate Commissioner. Jim Bohan, Alternate Commissioner. Jim Bohan is present. I don't know why he's not responding. Jim, can you hear me? And now he's frozen. Okay. Maura Garrick, Commissioner, Alternate Commissioner.
Present.
Thank you. Absent is.
I'm here, Adam. My audio reset. This is Jim Bohan.
Thank you, Jim. Absent is Jim Accomando. And George Clark appears to be missing tonight. And I'm Adam Cliver, Commissioner. Okay. First item on the agenda is Ben Browning, 432 Old Post Road in Fairfield for property located at 432 Old Post Road in Fairfield for a new condensing unit. Is there someone here to represent Ben Browning?
Yes, I'm here. My name is John Cebulski. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, it's fairly simple. There's an existing air conditioning unit that serves the second floor of the residence now. They, as part of their renovation, which was previously approved by the commission, they've added heating and air conditioning to the lower level in the first floor. And so this outdoor unit would service that, proposed to be placed next to the existing.
Okay. Can you show us on your application?
On the site plan, on the site plan that was submitted, there is an arrow which points to the new and existing. I'm not sure if you can see that. I don't see if I can.
No, I can't. You have to, can you share your screen? Do you know how to do that?
I'm going to see if I can pull it up because I didn't have it ready. I didn't know I was going to have to share it.
Okay.
If you're standing in the street, it's on the left side of the house, set back from the corner about halfway down behind the house. So let's see. Okay. All right, let me see if I can share this. Okay. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Are you able to see that site plan now?
Yes.
Okay. So where my cursor is the proposed AC unit, and just below it, you'll see the existing AC unit. And
Okay.
that's essentially it.
Okay. Art, do you have any questions?
No questions, Adam.
Thank you. Darren, do you have any questions?
No questions from me.
Rosina, questions?
No questions. Thanks.
Jim, questions?
No questions, Adam. Thank you.
Okay, Maura, questions?
Just a quick question, because I'm relatively new. I noticed on the map that it showed the proposed porch and the other additions on the back. Is that subject to any application, or is it because it's behind the house that's not subject to any review?
That was previously approved. That was the original
Okay.
project. And because we hadn't shown the new air conditioning unit on the original submission, when we went to take out the mechanical permit, we were told we had to come back to the commission for approval. So that's why the second application.
Okay, thank you. I figured that was the case, but I thought I just wanted to confirm it. Thank you.
Sure.
And I do not have any questions. Jim Bohan, you will be voting on this application, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mhm.
Did not receive any letters favoring this application, and I did not receive any letters opposing the application, so the hearing is closed. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is Doug and Naomi Kimmel, 536 Old Post Road in Fairfield, for property located at 536 Old Post Road in Fairfield for a replace existing fence. For someone
And
to
I am-
represent the Kimmels.
I am here, Doug Kimmel.
Hi, Doug, can you present your application to the commission, please?
Sure, hold on. I too didn't realize we would do the share, but I have the document. Hold on one sec. Let's see what happens here. Is it popping up on your screen?
Yes, we see it.
Okay. All right. Well, I probably put more than I needed to together, but I'll walk you through it. It's just probably a 30-plus-year-old fence that is falling apart, and I'm simply looking to replace it. Let me just scroll to, what do you guys want to see? You want to see images of the existing fence and what we want to replace it with?
Yeah, we want to see what you're proposing
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
remove and replace, and what it looks like and how
Yeah.
high it is, and all that.
Sure. So this is the aerial view that I pulled from Town Hall. You see here in yellow, the highlight is the fence line. It's almost 300 feet. Here you could see the fence line kind of Google Maps. So here's the existing fence. All right, here's pictures. A short front section, about 4 feet, falling apart. This is my yard I'm shooting from, but it's really an eyesore in the neighbor's yard more than mine. Here's the midsection, you could see, just barely holding itself up. And based on the last rainstorm in early April, here's the back section that has now fallen. So it's this ugly wooden green kind of tongue and groove fence. And then here is what I'm proposing, of 4 and 5 feet. So the 4 feet section runs about 60 or so feet to the kind of that midsection right beyond the neighbor's front yard. And then we go 5 feet for the balance to almost the back of the property line. There's an existing stockade fence that takes up about 30 feet or so. So these are the images that I took of actually a fence neighborhood. And then here's kind of what it looks like new with the materials of cedar wood or pressure treated wood. And I think that's it. And then there's all the appendixes and the application in there. But
Okay.
what else do you need to see? What else do you need to see, or you have any questions for me?
Yeah. Art, do you have any questions?
Adam, none at this time.
Okay. Darren,
Not for me, thank you.
Rosina,
No, thank you.
Jim,
No questions, Adam.
and Maura.
I have no questions.
I do not have any questions either. I do have a letter to read. And I think it's a letter opposing your fence. It's not in support. Dear Chairman Clyburn and Commissioners, I'm writing today to comment on the application at 536 Old Post Road for the replacement of the homeowner's wooden fence, which will extend from their rear property line to the front corner where the front stone wall is located on Old Post Road. I respectfully ask the Commission to research the proposed style of replacement, as there are no other fences on the Old Post Road from Attorney to Penfield that are of this design. My concern is that the horizontal boards introduce a more modern aspect that is visible from the street. Below are photographs of the old fence visible from the street that they are seeking to replace with the new style. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Ann Jones, 363 Old Post Road in Fairfield.
363 is what? My neighbor?
She's one of your neighbors. I don't think a direct neighbor. I did not receive any letters, any other letters, I think, in favor or opposed. Does anyone else have any comments before I close the meeting? Or questions? Okay. The hearing's closed then. Thank you. Moving on to.
Since I'm
You're done.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to consideration of public hearing items. And Maura, you're voting on the second application? Okay. So the first item is Ben Browning, 432 Old Post Road in Fairfield, for property located at 432 Old Post Road in Fairfield for a new condensing unit. Can I get a motion,
I'll make
please?
a motion to approve as submitted.
I'll second.
Okay. Ben makes a motion to approve and Zena seconds. Any discussion? We usually stipulate evergreen plantings for AC condensing units.
Does he have current plantings now?
I'm not 100% sure, but I would imagine so. It's an existing
he
condensing
did.
unit. Yeah, it probably does. And there may already be a stipulation from a previous application. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because I thought I saw evergreen plantings or some sort of planting around the condensing unit. I remember there being a lot of bushes to that side of the house.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm happy to add a stipulation, but I have a feeling one's already there from the last
Okay.
condensing.
So it's, honestly, it's whatever you think is necessary. Okay.
I'm happy to add it. Do we have to vote down the first motion, or can I just
No,
amend it?
you could you
Just
can amend
withdraw it.
your.
All right,
just
I
amend
amend
the
the
motion on the table.
motion to approve as submitted with the stipulation that there are plantings in perpetuity to hide the condensing unit.
I'll second that one.
Okay. All in favor? Jim? Jim, are you voting? All opposed? None opposed? Jim Bohan? Can you hear me? Jim?
Yes.
Okay. You voted for that? Okay, thank you. Okay, second item on the agenda, Doug and Naomi Kimmel, 536 Old Post Road in Fairfield for property located at 536 Old Post Road in Fairfield for replace existing fence. Can I get a motion?
This is Art. I'll move to approve the one item as presented.
Okay, second,
I'll second for the purpose of discussion.
thank you. Discussion?
My first thought when looking at the fence, it was that it was a very modern look, due to those horizontal boards. But I'm open to listen to what others have to say.
I agree with you. I mean, the current fence is definitely an eyesore and does need to be replaced. The fence he has picked is very nice. I don't know that it's appropriate because of its modern vibe.
Yeah, I think the vertical planks would be more appropriate. It's funny how you change the orientation of the planks so they have such a different appearance,
Yeah.
different feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, the neighbor's letter has a point. I mean, she has a point.
Yeah.
It was a little surprising to see it horizontal.
The other thing that I noticed is because the fence comes so close to the front of the house, I mean, that just adds a whole nother element too.
Yep. Okay, well, let's vote on the motion on the table, which is to approve as presented. All in favor? All opposed? Motion is not, does not pass. I should say. Okay, can we get another motion on the table, please?
I make a motion to deny without prejudice.
I'll second
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor? All opposed? None opposed, motion passes. Okay, moving on to approving minutes from the April meeting. Can I get a motion to approve minutes?
I'll make a
Believe we're
motion
all
to
here.
approve the minutes as submitted.
Thank you. Second,
I'll second that.
thank you. All in favor? Okay, the motion passes. Maura, you're voting on that. You can vote on the minutes.
Can I actually ask you a question? When I'm voting, can I
Yeah.
also second and also,
Yes, yep,
okay,
yep. You can make a motion if you're voting.
okay,
You're
Thank you.
acting as a commissioner.
okay.
There are no violations this month. No old business. We do have some new business. We have two properties. That one is Darren's property, who she has done a study for and is going through the process of having her property designated as an historic property, which I shared the report with the commission. We're not going to vote on it tonight since it's the first time that we've seen it, or that you've seen it. But we'll leave it open to discussion and comments if there are any comments on it. So then we can put it on the agenda for next month for to vote on. I don't know, Darren, do you want to walk through the your report with the commission quickly?
Yeah, I can, my property is already on the State Register of Historic Places. It's significant as a, for two reasons. The first being for its architecture. It's a transitional vernacular house that spans the Federal to the Greek Revival period. It was built circa 1820 with about an 1860 addition. The second reason it is significant is because of the people that built the house. It was Walker Sherwood, who was one of the Sherwood clans. He's descended from some of the founders, or the founder of Stratford Village, and was very significant in the development of this area of Fairfield. This property stayed in his line for 50 years, 40 years. He died very young. His wife managed the farm for the next, 40 years of her life, 38.5 acres with 3 children under the age of 5. So it's significant for women's history in that respect as well. It maintains a high level of integrity and has a very long period of significance since it stopped being an active farm in 1955. And I think even after that point, still maintains some farm activities. It was significant in the early 1900s because it's associated with immigration, and specifically immigration from Eastern Europe and subsistence farming that happened at that point in this area and throughout Fairfield County. And as I said, it maintains a high degree of architectural integrity, and certainly has a high degree of social history.
Great. Anyone have any comments regarding the property? Okay. Good, so I think we can, I don't think anyone seems to have any comments or suggestions, so I think we can put it on the agenda for next month and
Great.
have it properly noticed and we can vote on it.
Wonderful. I'll make sure my husband's
And
here
then-
for that as well.
Okay, great. The next item is 72 South Pine Creek Road. Considerations, again, it's a property that the homeowner would like to have listed as historic property. I think our job is to determine whether it's significant, if it has a significance to move forward with the report. If the house is architecturally significant, if there's any, that the people who live there, any historic significance. I believe the homeowner is, he's not here. Jim Sullivan is his name, and he was supposed to come and talk to us about the property.
He
Joe,
asked
did you
me
speak
to
with him?
submit on his behalf. I don't know if I can certainly walk us through it and make sure he is here next time if we are going to vote next time.
Well, I think we can agree just by, I think that's what this is on the agenda, so that we can determine whether it's worth going to the next level and having the report done. The report that he submitted is really just a record of the land records and,
Yeah.
So it does, and there's nothing about the house or the property. There's no, like your report shows, or that's required by the state. And
Right. I didn't write a report, so what he submitted was gathered by Melanie Marks of House History. A number of years ago, I personally did see the house. It does maintain a high level of architectural integrity in certain aspects on the outside and certainly on the interior, which is outside of our purview. But what is very interesting about the house is the social history and how it documents. It's a vestige of social history in Fairfield, and I think if we were to pursue any sort of national or state register proposal for it, it would be eligible just for social history alone. It was a house that was built by an immigrant family who maintained the fabrics, who maintained that house over several generations, and it remains significant enough for them that they actually moved it to its current location. So that in context of immigrant history and social development of that area of Fairfield, I think it is significant and maintains good integrity in terms of that. So I would argue that it is very much worth pursuing.
Okay. Great. Yeah, I guess, I mean, I don't know what else we need to know about it, except what you know, what the research you've done is probably sufficient.
I haven't done tons of research, but just looking at the architecture of the house, I mean,
Yeah.
it is very of a period. It certainly has elements of high style Italianate 1860 to 1880 elements. It's got front doors that are not oriented to the street, but front doors that have the double paned arch glass, much like my house does. They have like original elements on the interior, which I'm not going to go into because it's outside of our jurisdiction, but that will become an element of the designation, because I think Jim's hope is that he does a local designation at the same time as putting it on the state register. So the report would have to have elements of that in it.
Okay.
The fireplaces are intact. The radiators are intact. The banister is intact. I mean, it's got a lot of interior architectural integrity, which would come out in the report. But I think for our purposes, since that is not within our jurisdiction, it's the social history that would come out in the research of that house that would be extraordinarily significant. And I don't think it would be terribly difficult to determine from where it was moved. So
Yeah.
I think also determining that would give us a lot of context and a lot of history, and also allow us to dive deeper into that social context and that discussion of immigrant families and subsistence and, you know, continued meaning of landscape and home in that context.
Okay. You also have to consider the structure itself. And you mentioned to me that the windows were original.
The windows are original. They are circa 1880, 1890 windows.
Yeah.
They're 2/2 double hung wood sash. They have the pulleys. A couple of them need to be restored, but they are intact and working. And I think he did have a couple of them restored at one point. The doors are original. The sunroof has now been enclosed, but that was an early sunroof that is right next to the driveway. The siding has obviously been redone, but there has not been significant changes to the house other than that.
Okay, great. All right. Anyone else have questions? Okay. I think that's all we got then tonight. Short meeting for a change.
Can I bring up
Anybody
a
else?
question?
Yeah, of course. Oh, I have something else too, by the way, but go ahead.
The 212 Center Street letters that we got. Was that what you were going to bring up?
Yeah. Yep.
So I do remember that at that application, it came before us, I think twice, once originally and once for changes. And I do remember that being a 2-story structure. And if it has bumped up to 3.5 stories, I think it is. I mean, I haven't done a drive-by today. I had a personal emergency, wasn't able to, but I'm happy to drive by and see what's actually being built.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I walked by it today and I would say that it's more 2.5.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I
Yeah.
looked at it. It wasn't sure quite where it got to 3.5, but maybe I'm missing something. But to me, it looked more 2.5.
Okay. It would be interesting to see what's being built relative to what was approved, and just make sure that they are staying within compliance, because if there has been significant changes, then it is something that we do have jurisdiction to talk to them about. But if it's something that
Yes,
has been
it's-
approved and is being built as approved, then these letters are
It's,
a bit too late.
Approved. was
that's
25.
exactly what's happening. It's what's being built is what was approved. I
Okay.
think the application was a little misleading because it did say 2 stories, but the plans clearly showed a lower level, a first level where the garage is, and a first floor, and then what they call the loft. Even Jack Franzen in the meeting called it a 2-story structure.
Mm,
But in reality, I think it's, it's probably closer to 3 stories.
okay.
So
Jack
I'm not
said-
sure. I mean, it's not that they, submitted, I think there's just a little confusion as to what 2 stories, what a 2-story structure should be and what a 3-story structure is.
Yeah.
But the plans were clearly 3 floors, a bottom floor, first floor, and a loft, as they called it.
And the peak was at 29 feet, as opposed to the previous garage was 18.
I don't recall exactly the height.
Yeah, I don't
It's
remember
pretty
that.
tall though. I mean, that's why I didn't approve it because it was so tall. I thought it was very, very tall and skinny. And unfortunately, I think the homeowner went to her neighbors and said that it was a 2-story structure, and I don't think they looked at the plans, or if they did, they didn't read them correctly,
Mhm.
and they felt like they were misled.
Well, Maura, while I totally believe you, I might just do a quick drive-by too, just to see for myself.
Well, you should, because I
Yeah.
wasn't part of the original, so.
I
don't have
I couldn't
any-
remember if you had seen the original. Yeah.
No.
Um,
mm-mm.
So I might drive by tomorrow and just see. I remember the whole thing looking quite large and tall and skinny.
It's
Um,
tall.
I
It's
drove
tall.
by today personally. I voted for it and I regret it now. How it looked
Didn't
in the
realize what they were voting
plans and
for.
how it looks in reality, it's awfully tall. Like I said,
Yeah.
it's can't do anything now, but I sort of regret my vote.
yeah, I
first
can't
one-
remember if I
First
voted.
question,
She was kind of a sympathetic figure for other reasons, and you were inclined to give her the benefit of the doubt, but that's tall and skinny. It's like an icicle.
Yeah.
I need to drive by as well, so.
I
All right.
asked Jack after the presentation, what's the height of the existing garage? He said 17 or 18 feet. And what's the height of the proposed? He said 29 feet. So that was clear, but
I voted against it originally, I think too. It was a vote of 3-2 that passed it. I ended up voting through the alterations because it didn't change the overall structure. It changed some windows, but I'm just going to drive by just to satisfy my own curiosity at this point and just make sure we're doing not that anybody else didn't, but I'm going to do my due diligence just as a commissioner and just say, I don't love the idea people were taken by surprise from it, but that's not necessarily us. That's between them. But I just would like to see it. It would make me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna make you feel better when you see it.
That's
It's,
a whole separate issue.
It's definitely what was proposed. I know that.
Yeah,
It's
That's what I
it's
want to see
clearly,
as proposed rather than anything crazy.
yeah.
So,
So anyway,
okay.
there's not anything else. I guess we just need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the
Rosina?
motion.
I'll second.
And Darren, motion's okay. All in favor? We are adjourned.
thank you. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you.